Welcome to a Late IHP Show with your 5D Mystic, and we have some stories. We're continuing with our lovely lovers who have emotional vulnerability and accountability. In this one, our focus is really just lovers. Lovers are self-agents, the people who have healthy self-worth. They also know how to regulate their nervous system, and if they're not really 100% great at it, they continue to make sure that they can get to their ventral vagal state. It's not boring to be securely attached. It's a lot of fun. Suffering isn't a part of the enlightening, empowered, integrated mind, body, self, 5D mystic experience, just so you know. From my subjective experience to you, yes, we have twin flame and some flames and oversoul. We don't get lost in narratives because we're not teenagers who need labels. So emotionally immature, insecure people use labels in a way that is really and so they have a hard time in relationships. They actively perform. We don't perform. Self-agents, it's you take me as I am, death depart, sickness and health, death do you worse, all that stuff. But obviously self-agents are smart, so we're not lacking accountability, which means moderation in all things. Otherwise, you are lacking accountability. Yes, laws are important, and that's the first step we take of being accountable as grown-ups. Emotional vulnerability means you don't suppress or use numbing agents or ignore your health, like physically, so you will learn how to be in your ventral vagal state health. And that's because smart people want integration of brain, and the ones who have a challenge, they're not here at IHP because infinite higher human consciousness potential experience. You can't access infinite if you don't use your prefrontal, because the brainstem, yesterday's news, is using yesterday's news. So non-bilaterally integrated people, they don't actually think on their feet. They do think they're omnipotent, but that's for another reason, and they don't know their worth. They don't know that they can smell like a skunk, like flower from Bambi. Yeah. Or maybe like an actual skunk, which would be, smelly. And so accountability means that I don't make up excuses for myself when I, do something that basically, in a relationship, all of them, when you have emotionally immature people, though, hold on, let me explain to you the difference, because there's a lot of people who could use Patrick Tian, no, in this case, Terreal, so they can become fierce lovers and not actually call themselves lovers and ask people when they're dating punishing questions, like being CIA, FBI agents in social time. Like, those people think they're omnipresent. There's actively a whole group of people. They're not monsters or Lucifer, no, but they follow the 714, not charming. Poor unfortunate souls, so sad, but true. That one wanting to be pretty, that one wanting to get the girl. I don't help them or bore they, but others do, because left brainers are imprisoned by their words, because the left mode wants words. I use my right mode first, which allows me to say all the way in all of it. And that's why I'm an emotionally mature, I'm an empowered feminine. So again, we do not have tragedy with our twin flame or flames. In fact, empowered feminine can tell you when we realize in the moment that we don't know everything. I know God, and I know that I take it up with Him. And then some will call God source, Akash, divinity. We're not picky. Remember, I'm a co-author in a book. It's called The Ways to God. We're all really great. We hang out, we talk, we laugh. We're all different mystics, religions, all of it. So the people who really don't know how to do this, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, yes, I do. Attachment coaches seem to think that securely attached, non-traumatized people are boring. I'm wondering how they're going to motivate their actual community to go towards the very health that their embodied brain is seeking to go towards. So the body doesn't want to stay numbing itself with alcohol or drugs or fucking or binge eating, or no, the body's smarter than the left mode. So while Lisa Feldman Barrett, I think I got the name correct, tells you that your brain is actually interpreting what the body says, as Bessel van der Kolk points out, the body keeps the score. And as Peter Levine points out, trauma charges are stored in muscles, bones, and tissues. And as all smart attachment information people point out, unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms are bad habits. They're not bad as I'm not going to cast a stone. You're bad. You're a lawyer who does drugs. You're bad. You're another person who does drugs. You're really bad. You drink a lot and you're not supposed to drive. You're bad. Oh, I stopped doing that when I was growing up in college. I met people who whined about fucking each other and they drank like, wow. And I'm just thinking, I hold all grown-ups accountable, because you want to set the example, and entertainment doesn't set examples. It consistently is even worse than social media, because at least on social media we're going to have entities, rules, AI, whatever it is, to keep check on misinformation. People think that they're learning about culture through TV. And I try telling them, not even documentaries are documentaries anymore. You need to really be careful who you're listening to. And that's because I have a discerning mind, because I have an integrated brain, and I do not take Maria's side. Meaning what she likes and doesn't like. I'm a 3-year-old like anybody else. That doesn't mean I'm a subject matter expert, and I don't negate that the environment needs my help, but I also won't become a vegan unless I really have to. And if I one day have to, I don't know. But, you know, in the meantime, I also don't believe in conspiracy theories, because there's no monster. I searched. No, I didn't search. I just knew that if there was ever a Lucifer out there, I would meet the monster. I have yet to meet a monster. Now, when I meet pathologies, they're not monsters. Peter Levine informed me what a bird with a broken wing does when they meet an anchored in ventral energy, confident, empowered, actual human being, not one who does this. The hypervigilance is not your empowerment, because the window of tolerance is small, and affect. And so there's a lot of things that take place, which is why we have the 4D mystics and the 4D collective and the 3D collective. I mean, really, it's a sad story, but the fearful brothers and sisters think that they're venomous tooth. Resentment, the squirrel from Cusco land actively, so they get in a screen and they start yelling, and that's called structural dissociation. It might also be fragmented, one of their states of self. We don't know, but they think they time jump, and I'm the mystic again, so I do know all about astral travel. Sciences will look into empirical mysticism, as they already began bringing science and spirituality together. So smart human beings, academics like myself, even without being in academia, will now also know of the pseudo-intellectuals, which I got a couple of names for you. It's the fancy man in his suit and the fancy woman in her suit, and probably a lot of other fancy people in their suits, because they exaggerate. And I'm an online marketer, and I've always told any one of my clients that I work with, we don't need to exaggerate. Quality will go and for sure beat quantity again and again and again and again, because you know what quality is? It means it lasts over time. And so when you are smart, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable, you don't follow trends, which is why you don't actually trust in those who lack the capacity to discern, and they actually follow what they like and don't like, and they call a docu-shitty series a good quality of something that's not a good quality of anything, and it's not even informative. It's brainwashing material, like what they did with cigarettes, and they did that way back when with marijuana. And now when you say that to people, they're like, no, but they don't. I said to a lady, that's your opinion, because that's what happens when you meet the masses. And as Schopenhauer points out, a large audience. I don't want to believe that most of human beings have half a brain. So I'm trying to make sure that you understand I believe in you and the capacity for your integrated brain to be integrated, and for you to have a self-agent leading yourself, which is right here, your heart. It's your heart. If you only if you have access to your worth. Are you a skunk? I'm a smelly skunk. Are you a flower and a poo-poo? Because that's what we are. We're both emotionally immature people. You can't do anything right. Don't tell me this thing, because don't you know how to be considerate? Why didn't you tell me this thing? I thought you and I would tell each other everything. Well, you know, you told me that I needed to be considerate, and since things are going shitty right now, that I'm not supposed to tell you anything that is beautiful on my end, because, you know, that's inconsiderate. So I learned how to be considerate, because you go through shit. I'm not going to share happy news because, that's how you pointed out to me. I'm supposed to pay attention, to be considerate. When people don't know how to be emotionally mature with their own self, they tend to bring it into the room. It's called emotionally immature people. Yes, we know a bunch of them. Anyone who's a self-agent will. We don't go pointing it out to them because, again, I learned as a teenager what immature emotional people do, and they don't change because their fight response is what's leading. And that's why a man or a woman is not a real man or a real woman or a real they, meaning grown up. They're not lovers. Accountability, you need it. Otherwise, I'm not really in the room with a grown up. I'm with their subconscious, their 8-year-old. I, on the other hand, have my subconscious, my conscious, all of Maria's here. So when I get in my hissy fit, my 3-year-old, I do, once I'm being told, say, I'm sorry. That's just something I'm still working on. And no, it's not actually within the relationship between me and a real man. This is my mother, because that's the only time I was a 3-year-old, and my twin. So trauma, yes, we work on it consistently, and some of us luckily work on it with our own household. Ice Age, Manny Diego Sid. It's fun. My Neapolitan heritage allows me to yell and be loud, and right now I'm calm because, that way we don't have to, it's because right now here it's a different time than wherever you're at. So anyways, emotional immature people, they often interpret reality based on how something feels to them, not what was actually said or meant. So I definitely lead with feelings, but I don't make my feelings the truth because I'm not a person who's ignorant. I don't allow effective realism. Well, no, what happened was I got it shattered. I'm disowned. No, you're not. You can't be disowned. So when your caregiver informs you of the truth, which is you are Maria, and the other people are other people. Difference isn't better or worse, and it's okay to be sad and mad and afraid and disgusted and happy and surprised and all of it, and you can be a cockroach and I'll still love you. You don't have to work one day for your love. That's why you can take accountability and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Now, for the ones who want you to be considerate for everything, I gave you that example. So emotionally immature people, we don't really do much because they don't allow us to be ourselves. We just learn how to cater to their immaturities and not walk on eggshells. So no, I don't actually have fear of anyone, but I do know I like to hang out with the ones who can laugh at all the comedians, at all the politicians, at all the religion, and laugh, and not actually take offense. In Italian, there's a saying, anybody who takes offense is smelly. Also, when we do meet emotionally immature people, our fearful brothers and sisters will not know who they are. They lack self-awareness and access to their heart because they lack access to the right mode, and they therefore have structural dissociation. Adaptive child part people do not take accountability of their 14-month-olds. So I get to hear them support pseudo-intellectual human beings, and then they say to me, neuroscientists, someone has something to believe in. I'm the pseudoscience lady. No, I don't tell them that. Excuse, you're confusing science spirituality. No, I bring them together on my podcast. I'm a content creator, mentor, and podcast host for spiritual development and growth, and personal development and growth for people who want to become more of their self. Well, why would they need you? Well, because apparently they don't know how to put into practice inner growth mindset, mindfulness practices, and the mindset skills. Well, really, it's more of they can hold themselves accountable and want to bring forth a habit because they know, like I do, and like my primary caregiver does, that I'm a creature of habit, like any other common sense person. So the difference is I got lucky. I have a higher self. My self-led Maria likes moderation. I do care about living as long as possible. So I'm not stupid to the extent of where I would abuse this too much. But I'm still just as stupid as anybody else. But I just got lucky, because that way people that don't actually like that I'm happy all the time can have a good feeling about it. I have people who tell me that I got lucky, and I say yes. And then people who are accountable say you didn't. You worked to get to where you are at. You planned it. You meticulously took every step consciously. And I say yes. But you know what happens when you have emotionally mature people in front of you. If you tell them that you did something, Gary V, I love you, man. So he's authentic. I don't know him personally, but I watched this interview once and it caught me because, see, he gave this person a lot more time than I would have, which is probably why I got this to be saluted story for you all, because I consistently will communicate. I am uninterested in engaging with you completely, emotionally, unaccountable, immature human being. It doesn't matter how many times you try to be around me. I'm a grown woman. I didn't realize people that were grown didn't know this. So when you are consistently in your ventral vagal state and have healthy self-worth and a good gut, you don't mess around with drama kings and queens because they're boring. Secure attachment and accountable people, lovers, are not boring. No, boring are the people who don't know that suffering is an option because you have a prefrontal cortex. You do not have to suffer life. And for those who have a small window of tolerance to affect, there are people who are experts who I learned from who help them. The ones who think it's patching are the bullshit people who suppress, and they make fun of Patrick Tiahan, and they also crap on his content, and he is not to be crapped upon. In fact, I love you, Patrick, man. So Gary V, this dude's like, you got lucky because your parents. So he's getting interviewed, Gary V, and that's the guy just comes in, and he's like, no, I didn't. I did work. And the thing is, he then went in for a second, and then he went in for a third, and he kept explaining to this man how he got where he got. And by the third time, I'm just thinking, who cares, Gary? Obviously, the man doesn't want to do the work. He is clearly convinced with his effective realism. Emotionally immature people, again, they lead with feelings that are I like and don't like, and they lack self-awareness, accountability, and regulation skills. So when you meet biologically rude people, thank you, Stephen Porges, they don't hear you. They're already convinced and chatting over you. Those who think they're omnipresent and study you, I'm going to leave that one for another time because I seriously think it's not funny at all when people, suspicious minds, as Sadhguru points out, suspicious people don't do much with their life. Do you know why? Robert Sapolsky also has an answer for you for that one. He has determined that we have no free will, and he informs you of your first 3 years of life. You know what smart people would do with information like that? They would make use of it. But you know, unfortunately, it's dangerous to have no emotion, says the woman who doesn't have the depth of her emotional plane because she's a teenager who's an idiot, who I met plenty of, who think that women who have ventral vagal state are not jealous and have compersion and can actually talk to another human being and say everything that is on their mind has a problem or that is faking it. Yeah, no, we're not. And we're just confident because we have clarity, because we have eustress, because why would I get in my hissy fit? Don't you know I'm a 3-year-old? The world doesn't revolve around me. I got taught that when I was a kid. And also, again, you can't disown me. So if you truly create what you care for and you get 2 opportunities, it is even better. If you are not enjoying the process, then you don't want another opportunity to create what you care for. If suffering the process and it doesn't happen the way you want it to, you freak out. But if you enjoy the process, and you enjoy what you're creating, then 2 opportunities is even better than 1. Thank you, Sadhguru. So mastering the dance of life is a party of love with the right people. Time passes with us, life, when we get to master the dance of life together, and heart that lives in recognizing itself in one another. Not only is it with lovers, those who are safe haven, secure bases, so they consistently take note of each other, they grow together, they build together, it doesn't matter what age, polyamory, monoamory. This is called integrity, and men and women and theys know how to commit because securely attached, non-traumatized people, mystic, spiritual, mindfully living, loving people are grounded in reality. So we know that any one of us can be a skunk. And we know that none of us will speak words that are exactly correct. And we will bring our ideas to life. And we do know that love is always around because we take our ventral vagal state health and we don't waste our life away. We tend to the small things. We co-create with spirit or with one's own whole self and take the lead. So you don't actually treat your body like a piece of shit, and you don't use bad habits that will wither you away. So you also learn how to harness that mind, the brain, the body, the heart, the self. And that's why accountability isn't where I come in at you as a mother, father. Those are martyr superiors who, tell each other what to do. Emotionally immature people treat each other like children. That's where we're not children. The ones of us who are grown-ups, we are lovers that are self-agents who are in our ventral vagal state. And so we bring emotional vulnerability, not triggers. We bring in emotional conversations with mental conversations, and we will share that we care. Also, at the end of the day, when you meet an empowered feminine, I'm a mystic and I'm spiritual. So sciences will give you technical verbiage. I'm going to give you something different. As long as it takes, you are my person. When I was a teenager growing up, this is the words, and still to this day, people in movies. And so the part about monoamory, polyamory, let me look at that for a minute. You can be either or. This is not what's going to make you a person whose self-agency leads you to love yourself first and love others independently. The idea that there's only one human being for you in a very specific way is something that doesn't need to be deconstructed per se, but we want to look into it in depth, which is what people don't tend to do. The phrase in and of itself, and the way I was taught it, was there's only, again, one perfect match. Now, when it comes to people, this is the part of where they're amazing, amazing people. This is where those who are monoamory don't understand polyamory. That's because they will have one person they love. When I got to move from the one to the ones to the ones to no ones, I was quite intrigued. I was knowing what theme we were in, again, as a mystic. So I wasn't lost, and I didn't create 4 waves of twin flames, nor did I get tested by no fucking masculine, because they can't physically, mentally, or emotionally test an empowered feminine. Because an empowered feminine knows of this one thing that Robert Sapolsky says we don't have, determined free will, but that God has informed me that I have and you have. And I am of faith. I just don't repeat myself, because why would I? It's if you're a new person, I just met you, and maybe, because really I don't need to prove my faith to anyone. So God gave me quite very straightforward. Jesus suffered for your sins. I ask you to forgive. Don't play me. And here, do you want the Holy Spirit or not? And then I expand. So free will is not gotten rid of. An empowered feminine with mystical powers would know. This is the children think of their mysticism as powers. I've had people in my energy sphere. I'm like, you kidding me, right? What the fuck are you doing in my sphere? And it's not even this way, because I can share with you this, but it's like nothing's happening. I'm actually, get out of my space. That's it. I don't get pissed because you're not doing anything to me. That's how an empowered, enlightening mystic, because also, again, grounded in reality. So for all I know, Maria's just a whack job right now. She's picking up on the relational field and consciousness. That's how a person can reason with their prefrontal. But also I found it humorous, to say the least. And very impolite for those who are others to claim in ways that are competitive that their intuitiveness is somehow more accurate. You have your oversoul, stay in your oversoul. Other people's have their oversoul. I didn't ask any of you for anything. So when you meet insecure, as always, human beings, they tend to want to take and mesh. So differentiated self people, we know how to keep our mouth open, because I will tell you what I'm thinking and feeling, because I don't need to hold it back. I also don't need to disengage from hanging out with you if you are of a lower frequency, because it doesn't affect me. And when you see people who actually have these types of conversations, again, they're all groupies. So when you are a person who doesn't know how to be emotionally vulnerable and accountable, you tend to be emotionally triggerable. I'm not triggerable, and if I am, I'll notice it by the time I get there, and then I'll be like, okay, good, noted. This is one area that I'm still mastering physically. That's good. So I don't study myself, I notice. Okay, so masculines don't test feminines because nobody's actually in a game of ups and downs and merry-go-rounds. So you don't come into my life and out of my life and into my life and out of my life in a way that will in any way, shape, or form. By the third time, I know what you're doing. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. That's it. I'm not going to take you seriously because you are actively showing me that you have no capacity to take accountability, to regulate your nervous system, and to actually bring to me vulnerability. You're not a person, you're Pinocchio on his Pinocchio Island, and you're with a bunch of Tom and Jerry's. It's straightforward. So my person, I'm a teenager, I'm getting taught this. As I move out of it, thank goodness, and I said thank goodness because seriously, being an emotionally, mentally, physically independent human being is very awesome. Is it necessary to go through it with cowards? No, it's not, but there tend to be a lot of emotionally immature. If I'm going through shit, don't tell me your happy stuff. Why didn't you tell me your happy stuff? Well, because you're going through shit. Oh yeah, that's right, you're right, you're right. At least there's a capacity to recall when people bring in things so that you don't have to be like, but some people don't. They just, no, I didn't say that. That's not, I don't use the whole gaslighting. I don't weaponize words. If the minute somebody's backing up, I just think, okay, either they know what they're doing or they forgot what they said. And if they forgot what they said, then they are not accountable. They have a brain situation going on. I'm not going to point out the weakness of a person. I forget things too all the time. So this is, again, a person who is not into having any kind of interaction that leads to something called an argument, because why would I? I don't need to argue with you. I can talk and I can continue talking, and then if you get agitated, I can say, look, I think we can agree to disagree. So emotional vulnerability isn't hard, accountability isn't hard. Masculines who are not empowered, they don't really mean much like dysregulated feminines. It's more of God chiming in to remind me not to judge human suffering, a waste of my fucking time, and that I continue to expand thanks to interacting with people who are of a low frequency, because every time I get to interact with them, I differentiate Maria. Thanks, Dr. Daniel Siegel. So I get into my prefrontal. I have practice making sure that I know that it's not about the one or the ones or any ones, and all people are my oversoul anyways, but that my heart lives in recognizing itself in one another, because your heart and my heart are the same. It's a soul that lives behind it, beyond it. The heart and the right mind, the right mode, excuse me. So the left, you may be the one who's disconnected. I'll know you're my brother or sister. And when you're doing whatever shit you're doing, whatever you project is really your nervous system in its biological rudeness. It's not your heart. Your heart is still just the same. Again, the soul, let me specify. So lovers, at the end of the day, don't have any of the ups and downs and merry-go-rounds because we don't treat each other like children. That's number one. Also, we do realize that, of course, some people may have desired to have the one and only person in their life, but that's really, everybody has a different story. So what I can tell you as an empowered feminine, every one of the masculines that is not empowered that I've met, they had plenty of choice points. Because, you know, accountability. If you don't know how to tell me shit in my face, you tell it to me behind my back. That's not accountable. I don't lose people. You can't lose anything. It's not a dog that you're getting into a relationship with. I don't need to watch my fucking back. Nobody's fucking with me. What? A breakup? Excuse me. I told teenagers, and then younger women, and then younger men, and then we got older. I'm like, don't you know there's 8 billion people? Why are you getting all upset? Like, I don't understand. And that's the part. If you truly create what you care for and you get 2 opportunities, better than 1. So the ones who are instead looking to their back, they could use Terry Real and many more therapists that help people to know love is out there. It starts with you, and then it starts with an understanding. Do you have healthy self-soothing mechanisms? And do you use your integrated brain? Or do you have unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms and you do not integrate your brain? And so do you wake up more invigorated and energized? And are you using your time in a way that makes you fulfilled? everybody has a different journey, and that's where the lovely confidence in your mental, emotional, and physical activity is, when you are capable to understand your embodied brain has lived from your fetus, if you will, with the implicit memory stuff building to the first year of life, second, third, implicit memory, and then explicit. And so you build the habits, but you will learn how to undo the habits that you were not meant to have. How do children learn? They learn by the nervous systems around them to be in their healthy nervous system. And if they don't, then they have already unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms. And yes, Stephen Porges is still working to prove his theory, so people will tell me that, and I'll say, I've noticed it on myself and a bunch of more people, but sure, I can't make you believe in anything. So number one, neuroplasticity, the bright sides. That's how you're going to get yourself out of a rut. Dark sides, that's how you're going to lock yourself shut in. Shame, blame, fault, revenge, default. Mode network not down-regulated, non-bilateral integrated person using drinking, drugging, fucking, and whatever shitty-ass stories going on in there, and a bunch of their time is wasted doing nothing more than, as Sadhguru pointed out, when he ruined superheroes for me, they just cut their noses up and kill each other all the time. It's like, shit. One thing I liked still out of movies, I still enjoy them, but not really, because I think that's really crappy imagination. And so there's a bunch of people who have nightmares and shit like that because they don't go to therapy. And well, then I think, would it be fun if all people were securely attached, non-traumatized, and using their open-hearted, spontaneous 3-year-old and having a good time with people? I think that's the heaven on earth that we hear so much about. Yeah, because there wouldn't be the promiscuity with lust and all of the people complaining to me in college and telling me that they're all lonely. And the ones who have suffering in their hearts, I mean, the Buddhists, though, might be upset because their fundamental truth that this life, this very existence, would be taken away from them. You know, utopia. Maria's 3-year-old won't rule the world. We all know that. So yeah, no, only those who want to be self-agents and lovers are going to be at IHP, which is fine because we're creating a 3-year-old world here at IHP of those who do want to inspire their higher potential. I don't want the ones who don't want their infinite higher human potential. Why would we want emotionally immature grown-ups? I mean, I dealt with the teenagers as a teenager, and I was already a higher self and mature. I said to my teenage boyfriend, I'm not jealous. I know this is your culture, but I'm not insecure. We are not ditching our friends because we're living together, which means we have plenty of time together, and our friends are really, why are they ditching each other? So number 2. Number 3, I have business. I'm going to go to college. I know what I'm going to do, and I don't change. So get that in your head. You've known me long enough. Number 4, we're going to share everything, and that's how family works, and we love our family. So there you go. Very straightforward. Commitment. Death do part, sickness and health, better for worse. So that's why it's not about the twin flame or soulmates. It's about the as long as it takes you or my person bullshit statement. No, we want to help anyone understand that the one is an actual securely attached, non-traumatized person who has healthy self-worth, because as I grow older, if you don't take care of your health, you really don't want to grow old with me. I'm a mindful practitioner, mindfulness and mindset and mindset, so don't waste my time. It's not serious, it's conscientious. Now, again, I get reprimanded by my primary caregivers, so I totally get it. I have just as many flaws and imperfections and bad habits as anyone else. That's why I hope we don't become like that one movie where Sylvester Stallone is in the future and they don't curse and they don't drink. I'm not into that. And when people say it's Luciferian era, I say, no, we're finding out how to heal trauma and people are going to get healed and out of their maladaptive patterns. We're doing way better. Humanity is doing way better with overflowing. So divinity descends, yes, a good portion of the masses have their prefrontal cortex on. Their default mode network is down-regulated, their conduit is open, and they are tapping into consciousness and intelligence, and science is looking into it, and spirituality, we're all coming together, and there you go. Kingdom of God in your body. Enlightenment, the seed, there you go. So it's really fun, and I look forward at IHP to have our 5D collective. The ones who are not here, It's okay. Our brothers and sisters of fear, we actively don't need them to take accountability, because what happens when a not securely attached, unhealthy self-worth human being is around healthy self-worth, to be saluted, that happens, and you say, it's not about decency. And then by the end of the evening, as they're singing, we'll become friends, because the drunk, that's the only time they can tell you things. And that's not all people, but in this case, these people who have insecurities will become friends and we'll talk. And I'm like, nope, we won't become friends. Yes, we frequent the same place. No, we won't talk. Yes, we will see each other. No, we will not be interacting much. And that is all. And so the person's like, you're putting up barriers. I said, nope, I'm telling you what I'm doing. Our body matches exactly what the words come out when you are in aligned body, mind, heart, self, human being, 5D mystic, spiritual, mindfully living, loving, emotionally mature, right here. Means that we try to talk. Obviously, we all have, again, those things come up, but we take accountability and say, I'm so sorry. I did it again. I didn't play with your heart. I just got reactive, mom and twin. And as for the other stuff, I got charged. You know what? You're right. My 14-month-old, she came out of the woodwork. I need to just give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back again. And that's how it works. And we have a good time. I love to love. And my baby, he loves to laugh and live and learn and expand and not cast stones. So thanks for stopping by. We're going to have more of the themes. This one has another at least episode if I come up with some more titles. So lovers is on the menu for our subject. And again, thanks for stopping by.